at home, I dug her out, then I made her one of my aces. Marijuana fragrance, this tree here is outrageous. Want me to play in your city? Send an email to my agent.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston here, aka the King of Boston. Today we're back for episode 49 of the Utah Jazz Association on NBA 2K13. And today we're going to be cutting Gerald Wallace. He really just does not provide much to us off the bench. He's not really that great of a defender anymore, and he's definitely not a good shooter. So he's more of just a hustle player, and he also demands a bit too many minutes. So we're going to give Steve Novak a 10-day contract, and we're also going to do the same to Carl Lander. He'll also get a 10-day contract. He's going to replace Malcolm Garner, the 7'4" rookie on our team. I think we either kept Garner and put him in the reserves or just cut him straight up. And then here we're going to re-sign Steph Curry, the $100 million man, 5 years, just over $100 million to come back to the Jazz and really be our franchise centerpiece for the future. So he looks like he could be on the Jazz for the rest of his career. I mean, he'll be, 32 or so at that point? Maybe actually closer to like 34. So, you know, at that point, I'm sure we'll just bring him back as a spot-up shooter off the bench. I don't know if we'd ever get that far, but if I was, a team that had a 34-year-old Stephen Curry, I imagine he'd be a pretty good spot-up shooter at that point if he didn't have his quickness and agility and all that stuff at that point. So either way, could be Steph Curry retiring possibly as a member of the Utah Jazz. That's good. So really what that does is give us an extra asset in Anderson Terry. Now, I drafted Anderson Terry knowing that the contract of Stephen Curry was expiring, and I was pretty sure I was going to be able to bring it back. I took a long look at what the hard cap was going to be because I know we have bird rights on Paul George. So at this point, we signed Steph Curry, and heading into next season, we are currently $1 million under the cap. But we still have to sign Paul George. He's also an expiring contract. And that means that we're going to have to go over the cap to sign Paul George. But we have bird rights on because he's been on the team for 3 years. So we should be able to re-sign him going over the cap. And that will not bring us to the hard cap. That will hit us with the luxury tax, but it's a video game, so it really doesn't make too much of a difference. And you can see here we're going up against the Miami Heat, still led by the big three here. The big three is still intact, Bosh, James, and Wade. And you can see Rondo here gets the steal, and he's going to posterize Dwayne Wade. Absolute poster. You know those guys don't like each other. If you follow the Miami Heat-Boston Celtics rivalry over the last 3 years, you know that Rondo and Wade really do not like each other. Going back to when Wade broke or dislocated Rondo's elbow, and then leading up to this year when Rondo clotheslined Wade in one of the opening games of this past NBA season. And you have some other kind of, underlined storyline. I don't know what the word would be, but you have some other storylines with this matchup here. It's a finals rematch. It's Paul George and Roy Hibbert versus the Heat, two members of the Indiana Pacers in real life. So you kind of have some storylines here that go beyond the game. And either way, Paul George really struggled to cover LeBron all day today. It's 24-19. I thought that would be a huge advantage for us, but George he couldn't stick him for some reason. And here I got so mad at that play. Did you guys see how quick LeBron James closed out? He tripped and fell as George was going around the screen. He somehow magically gets up, sprints with his 107 speed rating, and somehow closes out on Paul George. Man, I was so mad when that happened. This game, I just felt like I was getting absolutely cheesed. You're going to see what happens. There are some just crazy things that happen. You can see Jimmer Fredette, he's on this team at this point. He is just a deadly spot-up shooter. So at this point, 37-23, I'm going to find Gary Harris right there. Nice pass by Anderson Terry, and Harris gets it to go. 37-26 is your score. Now 39-28, here comes Theo Pinson. The underrated part about this Heat team compared to the real-life Heat team is this Heat team is extremely deep. Their second unit is as strong as most in the game at this point. You can see here they're going to go to Diaz. Diaz is a guy who can hit a nice mid-range jumper. He pulls up right there, gets it to go. They have Diaz, they have Theo Pinson. Augusto Lima starts now as the starting center for their team. They have, I mentioned Theo Pinson. They don't have Norris Cole anymore, I'm pretty sure, as you can see. Nice layup right there. They have Kevin Parham, I can never pronounce his last name, but he's dribbling around right here, finds LeBron, and just lazy defense by Hibbert at that point. You got to stay on him. LeBron is a good mid-range shooter at this point. You cannot leave him open. Here comes Steph Curry coming around some screen tier. He has that quick release. They said that Steph Curry can get the ball 12 feet in the air in the time that it would take an average NBA player to release his shot. That's how quick Steph Curry's release is. That is according to Sports Science. Hibbert puts it in right there, but we're down 17 points. We're down 18 points. No, we're down 17. Now it's 16. We're trying to get back in this game. Steph Curry on the break, pulls up for three, and at this point I was down so many points, I knew I had to shoot the ball with Steph Curry, so I'm going to be taking probably more threes than I would like to at this point with guys like Curry and Paul George. But here, look at this. I'm just, wouldn't get back on defense. I was having trouble with the D. I wanted to use a 2-3 zone on them, and every time it would get reset to man, so we'd be halfway up the court. I tried to switch it to 2-3, and we would just leave somebody open under the basket like Diaz. And the man-to-man defense wasn't working for us. They have 65 points. It's not even halftime. Paul George for 3, though. He gets that one to go. We cut the lead back down to 13. We are not going away in this game. But this enraged me. Watch this. Mario Chalmers, shot clock winding down. George hand in his face, and of course he makes it. He swishes it. I paused the game. I was so mad. I think I got up and walked away for a sec. I could not believe what was happening. The Miami Heat were just on fire today. I don't know, maybe it was the white hot jerseys. Maybe they were fired up about trying to get revenge on the Jazz for beating them in the finals last year. Who knows? Either way, Jimmer Fredette running the break right here makes a nice pass to Augusto Lima. Lima with the crazy reverse layup, and they go back on top by 20 points. Now it's an 18-point game. Rondo back to Curry. Curry up under. He's going to give it out to Derek Favors. Favors up and under. He gets the nice contact layup to go. He got bumped right there, but Derek Favors is just too strong. 76-70 right here. Rondo trying to get into the paint. Here's Jimmer Fredette covering him. That's a huge mismatch. Rondo takes advantage and one right there. And a chance to cut the lead to 13. Now it is a 13-point game, 80-67. Here's LeBron. He's got 18 points on 6 of 12 shooting so far. Bosch catches, faces up, and drives. He is so good at that. And he will put it home right there. 82-69. Paul George with the ball. Pick and roll with Jeff Withey. Paul George trying to get into the paint. Gives it to Withey. Withey gets nice position right there. Nice footwork. Puts it in. 9-point game at this point. Trying to come back. Paul George with the ball. Comes around the screen. Finds himself open for 3. And he will drain that right in LeBron's face. 82-76. An impressive comeback right now by the Jazz, but the Heat sometimes are just a little too good. Cole Aldrich putting it in right there. 8-point game, now still an 8-point game. Here comes Paul George, drives it on Augusto Lima. He is too quick for Lima. He bumps him, uses the contact, and puts it home. So it's an 8-point game right here. LeBron on the boards. Nice outlet to Jimmer Fredette, and I thought I might be able to block that, but Jimmer Fredette lays it home. Nice layup right there. Back to a 10-point game. The Jazz comeback is not done yet. 8-point game here. Curry coming around the screen. He's going to try and get in the lane. Gives it to Hibbert. Hibbert faces up and posterizes Augusto Lima. What a nice dunk by Roy Hibbert. You don't usually see him post up and drive, at least not in my series. And maybe I should do that more. I mean, it was effective right there, but he does struggle with putting the ball on the floor sometimes. So either way, here comes Stephen Curry around the screen once again. He's open for 3, and it is good. We cut it to a 3-point lead. The comeback is almost complete. D-Wade, though, trying to go to work. He's going to get into the lane, spin around, and windmill dunk, and one over Paul George. Dwayne Wade would convert the free throw, so 103-97. Here comes Caron Butler. Nice bounce pass to Carl Landry, the second unit, getting the job done. And Caron Butler's veteran leadership and experience is going to come up huge here. You're going to see Terry is going to give it to Butler, who gets fouled and one. Caron Butler is a guy that was brought into this team to be a D&3 guy who plays some good defense, hits some threes, not a guy to be making nice bounce pass assists and one layups. What an impressive quarter so far by Caron Butler. We hit the 3, it's a tie game, and here's where we're about to blow them away. Paul George on the break, he's just too big. He may be a charge over Jimmer Fredette, but it looked like Fredette might have flopped. Who knows? 113-109. That's going to be a steal by Roy Hibbert. Favors picks it up out to Stephen Curry. Curry is going to end up hitting the floater right there. That floater is too deadly in 2K. I know you guys all know that. Then here comes Augusto Lima with the ball. He's going to pass it off to Dwayne Wade, out to LeBron. I jumped thinking LeBron might take the 3, but LeBron drives in. Now it's back to a 6-point game, though. Favors with the ball, outlet to Paul George. George, he's going to drive right over Dwayne Wade. Just too big sometimes. That is a 6-inch height advantage. Paul George, I don't care if you think he's 6'10 or not. He's listed at 6'10 in this damn game. Now, nice bounce pass from Derek Favors to Steph Curry. That's a one-handed dunk. The lead is open up to 10 at one point now. It's still 10, 123-113. Here comes LeBron trying to get his team back in the game. Pulls up, and he will put it in. Back to 8 points. Can the Heat mount a comeback? It's an 8-point game once again. Curry with the ball. He's going to try and ice this game at this point. Going to work on Chris Bosh. He will draw the foul. He'd make both free throws, and what a comeback by the Utah Jazz. They're going to win this game as Steve Novak's going to end it with a fadeaway 3. Of course he would miss it, but I wanted to get Steve Novak one shot at that point. He hadn't taken a shot all game, and come on, man, it was his first game as a member of the Jazz, so either way, impressive win by the Utah Jazz, being down by 20 points at one point, coming all the way back to win by 10, 127-117, and we did something that you really can't do against the Miami Heat in real life, and that's just try to outscore them. I figured out at about halftime that our defense was not getting the job done. The 2-3 zone would get us stops from time to time, but it really wasn't going to keep them under 100 points or anything like that. So I just decided I gotta outscore them, and that will almost never work in real life. The Miami Heat have one of the best offenses in the world at this point, probably the best offense in the NBA. And you just can't outscore a team like that, especially now that they have extra weapons like Jimmer Fredette, Augusto Lima, Theo Pinson off the bench. You know, guys like that, you just can't stop a team like that sometimes. So I just decided to outscore them, something that will almost never work in the NBA, but it worked today. You can see Rajon Rondo with the left-handed layup right there. Player of the game was Stephen Curry. He threw up 38, 7, and 4, I believe. Just impressive day from the point guard. He was excited about getting his new $100 million extension. He proved it today. So anyway, or he proved he was worth it, I should say. 127-117 is your final. I mean, to put it in perspective, they shot 56%, but they were 66% at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So that tells you how much our defense really improved as the game went on, how we were able to make adjustments. You can see here the final line, James with 30, Fredette with 23. That's going to wrap this video, so I thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy, and this was him out.